Okay, so welcome to my video about the M.E.Beam engine. I've never put anything on YouTube before, so there might be a few blunders with the commentary, so I hope you'll bear with me. It's taken many years to complete the engine, mainly due to house moves, renovation and such. But it's up and running now, and I think it's looking pretty good, I would say myself. The castings came from Stewart's, as I remember, and the drawings also. Just a quick mention about the drawings. So although they were very good mostly, when some parts were fully machined up and the time came to fit them, it was discovered that several parts didn't actually fit at all, and they had to be redone. So for anyone thinking about building a beam engine, it's worth bearing this in mind. I'll run the engine shortly, but to begin with, I'll just tell you a little bit more about the construction. At the moment, the engine is powered by a small 12-volt DC motor and a reduction gearbox and speed controller, all concealed inside the solid oak base platform. Everything's out of sight, which makes for a very neat and compact arrangement, as you can see. I'm sure the purists out there will be cringing a little bit to hear this, because I know a lot of you would prefer to see these engines steamed up properly. However, just to mention at this stage, the parts have all been made compatible for running on steam or compressed air, but I decided at this stage to run it with the DC motor, and I'll probably make a boiler to suit at a later date. The DC motor has got one advantage in that it's very clean, with no oil or water spraying about, which suits my wife, so things are okay in that department. I've mounted the engine on a powered turntable for the time being, so as to get a good view of all the working parts as it rotates. The engine's driven by a series of chain-link sprockets, all concealed inside the oak box, and you can just see at the very top of the base, just below the governor, there's a half-round chain guard which covers the final drive sprocket. One of the good things about the DC motor drive is that it can be slowed right down to a stop, basically. And so that enables you to get a really good look at the parts as they're moving. The engine's running at about half speed now, The whining noise that you can hear is not the engine bearings or parts at all. It's the DC motor and the reduction gearbox which is doing that. Chinese manufacturer, I believe. Just a quick mention about the brass plaque screwed to the top of the oak base. Fairbairn Lawson Coombe Barber was a very old engineering company in Leeds who made textile machinery and general heavy engineering equipment. It was regarded as one of the very best companies in Leeds for an apprenticeship, and I was fortunate enough to get an apprenticeship with them in the 1960s, from 1965 to 1970. I discovered a connection while I was looking on the internet with Fairbairn Lawson's and in connection with beam engines. And apparently it seems that Fairbairn Lawson actually made a few parts for beam engines in the late 1800s and early 1900s. You can see the brass plaque now, the Fairbairn Lawson plaque, just coming around now. I'll just turn the engine to top speed now and get an idea of how it goes at top speed. Once again, that whining noise is from the gearbox and the DC motor, and not the engine itself. As you can see, the DC motor speed control will slow the engine right down to almost a standstill. I'll try and move in a little bit closer now with the camera to get some few close-ups of the workings. I'll try and hold the camera as steadily as possible. I think you might be able to see the parallel motion gear there working away, moving backwards and forwards, which incidentally is quite a tricky piece of precision engineering to machine, not to mention the actual fitting together of the parts. Pretty tricky. Just coming around now, you can see the governor and the bevel gearing. And the little pump there working. So there we are. That's my M.E.Beam engine. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for looking. If you have any questions, I'll be all too pleased to answer them for you. So once again, thank you for looking.